Good morning, welcome back to the channel. I've been shopping again, back to the sports bike shop, and before we carry on I will say again, I'm not affiliated or sponsored in any way by the sports bike shop or by the products I'm going to talk about today. Now what I'm going to talk about today is over trousers, waterproof over trousers. I think we can all, most bikers will agree, they're a flipping necessary evil. I only tend to use them in the summer months, sort of spring, summer months. When you're going to go out, I normally would in the summer, or spring and autumn, I would normally wear my Kevlar, my RST Kevlar jeans. But obviously they're not waterproof. So you get caught in a shower on the way home or whatever, and you're going to get wet. So, over trousers. Now, I've had 2 or 3 pairs in the past, and I think we can all agree the biggest bugbear is putting the damn things on. They are a pain. I know they've got a zip, but they are a pain to get on when you've got your boots on. So the other day I was browsing the sports bike shop stock, and I spotted these. It's a brand I've never heard of before. It's called DXR. These are the DXR TACTIC waterproof over trousers. Now they basically look like any other over trouser, don't they? They are claimed to be on 100% waterproof. Nothing fancy about them. They've got belt loops, although as you can, these are a medium. These are. Now I'm a 34, 35, maybe 36 this time of year waist. You can see that waist is quite small, but it does obviously expand, so I'm not sure what use the belt loops would be. Anyway, you're probably wondering why go for these. The main reason is, I'll show you if I can. There's a zip on the ankle, but on these it goes right the way up. Once you undone the Velcro, it's a bit fiddly. It opens up right the way up to the waist, so that's going to make them a hell of a lot easier to get on. I think you'll agree. Now they are lined. They're not a mesh lining. They are lined. Now I know I've got a pair of Heingerich waterproof trousers, which is obviously a good make, and they're mesh lined, and the mesh lining makes them even more difficult to get on when you've got your big boots on. Even with the plastic bag over your boot shoving it, it's still. Now these are lined. They're not a mesh lining. They're like a, I'm not sure what it is, material of some sort. But that wasn't my in fact, with the Heingerich ones, it was a mesh line. I actually cut it out in the end. But as I say, these are a size medium. They do large, extra large. I think they go up XX large, and small and extra small. The other thing about these is they were 20 quid or 19.99, and that wasn't discounted. That was the correct price. Now the other features, as I say, the main one is the zip. They've got a flap there to tie them around your ankle, keep them around your ankle. Now they've also got a stirrup, elasticated stirrup. Now, when I used these the other day, I'll come to that in a moment. I didn't use this. It comes off with poppers, as you can see, but I didn't use that. I was a bit nervous. It's on both legs, obviously. I was a bit nervous about it because I'm only short legged. I have a 29-inch inside leg, and these are just a standard length, probably 32, 33 leg. If you're a taller person, then I'm sure these would be a bit of a boon to stop the thing riding up your leg. But for me, because they were baggy around the bottom, I didn't want to take the chance of this snagging on the foot peg when I came to a set of traffic light or a junction. It would have been highly embarrassing. Also dangerous. So I didn't use that. My legs are short enough for these to come down over my boot. So, as I say, I would normally, this time of year, I would normally wear my, I think what make are they? Risha. I've got some Risha textile winter trousers. You can take the thermal lining in and out. They are Gore-Tex lined, I think, or Sympatex membrane. So they are 100% waterproof. But there's me talking about this, and what's the use of talking about over trousers, waterproof over trousers, unless you've tried them in the rain. Now, I don't think any of us, if we're hobby motorcyclists, don't relish going out in the rain, and we probably don't do it on purpose. But I did the other day, in the interest of my YouTube channel being accurate. Now, as some of you probably know, I volunteer at the National Motorcycle Museum, and it was one of our volunteering days on Thursday last week. And I looked at the forecast. I normally go in the car this time of year. I looked at the forecast. No rain until about 11 o'clock, and then there was a yellow weather warning for heavy rain. So I'm thinking, right, I can wear my jeans to get there, my Kevlar jeans, put my waterproof jacket on, and then coming back when it's raining, if the forecasters have got it right, which they did, I could try the over trousers as I would normally do. Now, as I've mentioned, getting them on, this time of year I'd normally wear my big boots with me textile trousers, but I wore these. Now these are I forget the make of these, but these are RST as well. These are my short boots that I wear in the summer with the jeans normally, and it turned out they were waterproof as well. So that's the boots I wore with my jeans, rode to the museum with these in the top box, and you can see now, I'll just show a short clip now of how they fared in the rain. So it's okay, me sitting here waffling on about how easy these these are going to be to get on without me putting them on. So here we go. I'll show you how I put them on anyway. Right, let's get these things on. Let's find, there's the back, the label at the back. I'm going to sit down to start with. I've unzipped them, I've unzipped both legs. So these would be the boots I would normally be wearing if I'm going to be putting these on. So let's get my old bones into there. So here we go, one leg in. Now you've got to obviously stretch that out a little bit to get the other one in. If you're a bit younger than me and slightly more agile, there's the other one poking through. So let's make sure we don't stand on them. It is a lot easier sitting down. At the museum, I put them on the other day. I put them on whilst leaning against a wall. Whoop, whoop. And so you can see how tight the waist is. So now we'll. Oh, the other thing is I've got quite a generous flap there that overlaps, obviously inside. But you can see how long they are on me. But zip them down. Flap over the Velcro, and there we go. That's one leg. Quite a generous tab on there as well, if you would be doing them with gloves on, but I don't know why you would be, but you'd be under a motorway bridge somewhere, I would think, trying to shelter from the rain while you got yourself dressed. So flap that over. So if I wasn't so, what should we call, short in the leg, these would be I would imagine they're probably better. They don't do different leg lengths. So there we go. As you can see, there's no fashion statement here, but they look a bit odd like this, but when you're on the bike with your leg bent, they're fine. I say there's no fashion statements here, but they do what they say on the tin. Oh, the other thing I must mention is they don't come with a bag or anything, but I've got just a little stuffed bag. They do roll up, and just stick them in that little bag. So there we go, fashion show over. Right, here we are, just leaving the museum, just getting out of the car park. You can see from the tank it's a pretty steady downpour now. It's not torrential, but it's heavy enough. Trousers are comfortable enough, they're long enough in the leg and everything, so here we are, we've joined the M42 now. You can tell that by the cones going past, look. So we're probably up to about, I think there's a restriction on here now, so I think we were restricted to 50, so we're at 50 miles an hour. No sign of anything coming through, as you would expect. The seam down the side with the Velcro down the side, you can't see it in here, but there's a bit of a bulge on the Velcro down by my left knee, where my knee's bent, but it seems just can't feel a thing coming through there. So, well, so far so good. We're on the expressway now, heading back towards Birmingham. As you can see by the camera lens, the rain's got heavier now. I'm now up to about 60 miles an hour, I think, which is quick enough in these conditions. But again, still nothing's come through, so yeah, I'm very pleased with these. So here we are, we're slowing down now to come off the expressway. You can see the water's just running off them, just running off the trousers. Really chuffed. No sign of a soggy crotch either, I have to say. that's the usual problem when it gathers down there, but no, all good, all good. Right, as you can see from that little clip, the rain it arrived on time. I left the museum about 1 o'clock, I think. It had been raining for a good hour or so by then. Most of the other volunteers said, "What on earth are you doing?" I had to explain, it's for accuracy, and can't be seen reviewing waterproof trousers without trying them in the rain. So anyway, I left, and you can see it was raining quite heavy, especially towards the end of the M42, getting onto the expressway. It was more or less torrential for about 10 minutes, but that journey was about 45 minutes, I suppose. Motorway, expressway, down through the side streets, and I was 100% dry, so they do the job. I didn't even get, as I mentioned on the clip, I didn't even get a soggy crotch. So what they would be like in all day rain, I'm not sure, but you'd probably go a bit, you wouldn't just wear a pair of over trousers, I don't think, if you were expecting it to rain all day. But I must mention, if you've watched my channel, you may have seen, I did a review last year actually on these RST Paragon 6 gloves. Now I had these on, I also had, it was quite cold as well as being wet. I had these on the first setting, the green setting, the lowest setting. Hands were lovely and warm, but mainly they were bone dry, so I haven't tried them properly in the rain up until the other day. So yeah, my hands were bone dry. Also, these RST boots, sorry, Risha, these are Risha, bone dry. I was quite impressed. Again, I've not had a summer boot, so I normally would wear my big Gore-Tex boots if I knew it was going to rain all day. But also I've got a Risha jacket. Oh, hang on, wait there, I'll go and get it. It's just behind the camera, won't be a sec. Now, again, I'm not sponsored by Risha or anybody, but this Risha jacket, I have to say, this has got the thermal lining in. Bought this, my wife bought me this at the motorcycle show at the NEC in 2005, I think it was. So it's 20 years old. As far as I can remember, I've never reproofed it. That stayed, this is again a Gore-Tex sword, that type of membrane. But I think it cost back then, bearing in mind 20 years ago, I think it was only 40 or 50 quid. It was the end of line. It was, they were changing the colours and the style and whatever. So this was 100% waterproof again, and excuse me, even the pockets were dry when I got home. Even the pockets were dry. So anyway, let's put that down there. It says a lot for Risha stuff, but anyway. that's the end of this little video. Now, if you wouldn't mind clicking like and subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. It is completely free of charge, and it helps me to analyse what's being watched on the channel and what isn't. Hopefully this one will be watched, but we'll see. So that's bye for now, and see you in the next one.